Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com the first week of February 2024. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any newspaper in America and beyond. Radio host Joe Madison died January 31, 2024, of prostate cancer at the age of 74. He was the longtime host of Joe Madison, the Black Eagle on SiriusXM, known for inspiring his listeners to fight injustice with his signature phrase, "What are you going to do about it?" Madison is also being remembered as a civil rights activist who had a national leadership position with the NAACP before his radio career. Musician Wayne Kramer died February 2, 2024, of pancreatic cancer at the age of 75. He was a co-founder and guitarist for the politically charged rock band MC5. Kramer is being remembered for his furious guitar playing, which helped lay the groundwork for punk rock. Actor Carl Weathers died February 1, 2024, at his home in Los Angeles. He died in his sleep at the age of 76. He went from a brief NFL career to movie stardom when he took on the beloved role of boxer Apollo Creed in the first 4 installments of the Rocky series. Weathers is being remembered for many other movies and TV shows, including Predator, Happy Gilmore, Arrested Development, and The Mandalorian, for which he received an Emmy nomination. Baseball coach Mike Martin died February 1, 2024, in Tallahassee, Florida. He died of Lewy body dementia at the age of 79. He was the longtime coach for the Florida State University Seminoles baseball team, taking them to the postseason 41 years in a row. Martin is being remembered as the winningest coach in NCAA history, with more than 2,000 victories in his Hall of Fame career. Adele Springsteen died January 31, 2024, after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease at the age of 98. She was the mother of rock and roll legend Bruce Springsteen, and his fans loved it when she joined him to dance on stage. Springsteen is being remembered for buying her son his very first guitar and encouraging his musical career. Lyricist Toni Stern died January 17, 2024, at her home in Santa Ynez, California, at the age of 79. She wrote with Carole King, providing the lyrics to beloved classics like It's Too Late and Where You Lead. Stern is also being remembered as a poet, having left the music business after several albums with King. A note to remember, sometimes personal information, such as someone's cause of death, is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially announced, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Musician Aston family man Barrett died February 3, 2024, after a long medical battle at the age of 77. He was the bass player for Bob Marley and the Wailers, and he led the Wailers band after Marley's death. Barrett is being remembered for the profound impact his playing had on the development of reggae. TV personality Jonnie Irwin died February 2, 2024, of lung cancer at the age of 50. He was the longtime host of the BBC real estate program Escape to the Country. Irwin is also being remembered for presenting the British Channel 4 series A Place in the Sun. Actor Ian Lavender died February 2, 2024, at the age of 77. He starred on the classic BBC sitcom Dad's Army as Private Frank Pike, and he was the last of the show's main cast members to survive. Lavender is also being remembered for playing Derek Harkinson on the soap opera EastEnders. Actor Actor Don Murray died February 2, 2024, in Goleta, California at the age of 94. He starred opposite Marilyn Monroe in the 1956 film Bus Stop, receiving an Oscar nomination for his performance. Murray is also being remembered for later roles in the TV shows Knots Landing and Twin Peaks. Basketball player Earl "the Twirl" Cureton died February 4, 2024, in Detroit at the age of 66. He won 2 NBA championships in the 1980s and 90s, playing for the Philadelphia 76ers and Houston Rockets. Cureton is also being remembered as a community ambassador for the Detroit Pistons and a beloved figure in the city of Detroit. Rugby player Barry John died February 4, 2024, in Cardiff, Wales at the age of 79. He was a member of the Wales national team that won a Grand Slam in 1971, beating all other teams in the Five Nations Championship. John is being remembered as the King, also known for his important role in the British Lions' victory over New Zealand in 1971. Actor Michael Jayston died February 5, 2024, after a short illness at the age of 88. He played the Valeyard in the Doctor Who serial The Trial of a Time Lord. Jayston is also being remembered for movies and TV shows like Nicholas and Alexandra, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and Only Fools and Horses. World leader Hage Geingob died February 4, 2024, at a hospital in Windhoek, Namibia. He died after fighting cancer at the age of 82. He was the president of Namibia for 2 terms, serving from 2015 until his death. Geingob is also being remembered as the country's first prime minister after its independence from South Africa and one of the writers of its constitution. Firefighter Bob Beckwith died February 4, 2024, in hospice care in Rockville Centre, New York. He died after fighting cancer at the age of 91. On September 11, 2001, he was a retired New York City firefighter who stepped in to help at Ground Zero and unexpectedly found himself in the spotlight as he stood with President George W. Bush during his address to the rescue workers. He is being remembered as a face of the FDNY who became a spokesman for the New York Firefighters Burn Center Foundation. Beckwith was a U.S. Navy veteran who served in the 1950s. Football player Rich Castor died February 2, 2024, in Long Island, New York. He died of complications from Parkinson's disease at the age of 75. He was a tight end for the New York Jets in the 1970s, going to 3 Pro Bowls. Castor is being remembered as one of Joe Namath's favorite receivers. Actress Helena Rojo died February 3, 2024, at her home in Mexico City. She died after fighting cancer at the age of 79. She was the star of many Spanish-language soap operas or telenovelas, including Amor Real and El Color de la Pasión. Rojo is also being remembered for her performances in such films as Aguirre, The Wrath of God, and Más Negro que la Noche. Comic book artist José Delbo died February 5, 2024, in Florida at the age of 90. He worked on Wonder Woman for DC Comics for years, as well as on such titles as Billy the Kid and Teen Titans. Delbo is also being remembered for his influential work on Transformers for Marvel Comics. Author Robie Harris died January 6, 2024, at a New York City hospital at the age of 83. Her death was reported this week. She wrote It's Perfectly Normal, a book explaining changing bodies and sexuality to preteens. It was both widely read and frequently challenged and banned from libraries and schools. Harris is also being remembered for dozens of other books for young readers, including the award-winning Crash Boom, A Math Tale. World leader Sebastián Piñera died February 6, 2024, near Lago Ranco, Chile. He died in a helicopter crash at the age of 74. He was the president of Chile from 2010 to 2014, and again from 2018 to 2022. Piñera is also being remembered as a businessman who popularized the use of credit cards in Chile and championed environmental and social causes. Stunt performer and coordinator Mickey Gilbert died February 5, 2024, at his home in Camarillo, California. He died of natural causes at the age of 87. He was Robert Redford's stunt double in many movies, including The Horse Whisperer, The Sting, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, in which he did the famous stunt of jumping off a cliff into a raging river. Gilbert is also being remembered as the stunt double for Lee Majors on TV in The Fall Guy and Gene Wilder in Blazing Saddles, Silver Streak, and other films. Video game creator Laralyn McWilliams died February 5, 2024, of cancer at the age of 58. She was the lead designer on the real-time tactics game Full Spectrum Warrior. McWilliams is also being remembered for her work on such video games as Free Realms and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Author Christopher Priest died February 2, 2024, of cancer at the age of 80. He wrote the award-winning book The Prestige, which was adapted into a Christopher Nolan film. Priest is also being remembered for sci-fi novels like Inverted World, The Extremes, and The Islanders. Singer Henry Fambrough died February 7, 2024, in Sterling, Virginia. He died of natural causes at the age of 85. He was a founding member of the Spinners, known for R&B hits like Could It Be I'm Falling in Love and The Rubber Band Man. He is being remembered as the last of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame group to survive. Fambrough was a U.S. Army veteran who served for 2 years in the 1960s. Activist and actress Cecilia Gentili died February 6, 2024, at the age of 52. Her recurring role on the FX drama Pose as shady plastic surgeon Miss Orlando was a fan favorite. Gentili is also being remembered for her activism on behalf of the LGBTQ+ community and to decriminalize sex work in New York. Musician and actor Mojo Nixon died February 7, 2024, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, while aboard the Outlaw Country Cruise. He died of a cardiac event at the age of 66. He was known for his raucous and funny psychobilly music, with college radio hits like Debbie Gibson is Pregnant with My Two-Headed Love Child and Elvis is Everywhere. Nixon is also being remembered for hosting several shows on Sirius XM, as well as appearing in movies like Great Balls of Fire and Super Mario Brothers. Musician Toby Keith died February 5, 2024, in Oklahoma. He died of stomach cancer at the age of 62. He had 20 #1 singles on the country music charts, including Beer for My Horses, How Do You Like Me Now, and I Love This Bar. Keith is being remembered for performing for the troops and singing patriotic songs like The American Soldier and Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Five U.S. Marines were killed on February 6, 2024, when their helicopter crashed in Pine Valley, California during a training flight. As of this recording, their names have not yet been released to the public. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 4 years ago this week, actor Kirk Douglas died at the age of 103. He was a star of classic Hollywood in movies like Spartacus and Lust for Life. 5 years ago this week, actor Albert Finney died at the age of 82. His 5 Oscar-nominated performances included Tom Jones, Murder on the Orient Express, and Erin Brockovich. 24 years ago this week, magician Doug Henning died at the age of 52. His World of Magic TV specials delighted viewers in the 1970s and 80s. 33 years ago this week, actress Nancy Kulp died at the age of 69. She was best known for her performance as Miss Jane Hathaway on The Beverly Hillbillies. 41 years ago this week, singer and drummer Karen Carpenter died at the age of 32. She was half of the chart-topping duo The Carpenters, known for songs like Close to You and Top of the World. 65 years ago this week was the day the music died, when we lost 3 great early rock and roll stars in a plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa. Buddy Holly died at the age of 22, J.P. Richardson, better known as the Big Bopper, was 28, and Ritchie Valens was only 17. Musician and songwriter Bob Marley was born 79 years ago this week. He died in May 1981 at the age of 36. He was a legend of reggae music, known for songs with the Wailers such as One Love and No Woman, No Cry. Baseball player Hank Aaron was born 90 years ago this week. He died in 2021 at the age of 86. Known as Hammerin' Hank, he was a legendary slugger for the Milwaukee and Atlanta Braves. Actress Audrey Meadows was born 102 years ago this week. She died in 1996, 28 years ago this week, at the age of 73. She was one of TV's first sitcom stars, playing Alice Cramden on The Honeymooners. Civil rights icon Rosa Parks was born 111 years ago this week. She died in October 2005 at the age of 92. Her quiet refusal to give up her seat on a bus to a white passenger sparked a powerful and influential boycott that helped galvanize the civil rights movement. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Oklahoma have been lowered to honor the memory of Toby Keith. Flags in Wyoming have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Senate President John Hines. Flags in Delaware have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Senator Myrna L. Bair. Flags in Georgia have been lowered to honor the memory of State Trooper Jimmy Seneskar, who died in the line of duty. Flags in Georgia have also been lowered to honor the memory of State Representative Richard Smith. Flags in Maryland have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Delegate Rudolph C. Kane. Flags in New Jersey have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Reserve Sergeant William Jerome Rivers. Flags in Iowa have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Secretary of Agriculture Bill Northey. Flags in Tennessee have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Captain and Medal of Honor recipient Larry Taylor. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of Moody County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Ken Prorock, who died in the line of duty. Flags in North Carolina have been lowered to honor the memory of Harnett County Deputy Sheriff Chris Johnson, who died in the line of duty. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.